YouTube, what's up? MeefMagnet here. Today we're going to go over a guide to our AE series. So this is early game upgrades and early game ME management. What we're going to look at today is how do we actually increase our storage capacity? How do we actually manage the components and materials that are actually in the ME network? And actually how to go about building some of that stuff. So let's get right into it. So early game ME. A lot of times you're going to notice that you fill up these 1K chips right here relatively quick. A lot of early game stuff. I mean, you're hoarding cobblestone, dirt, stuff to build your basic base. A lot of ores and materials that you're going to need later game that you want to store are just sitting here not doing a whole hell of a lot. So let's take a look and see what's happened to this very, very basic ME network with our two 1K drives. You'll notice here that they are red, which means they are full. You can see that here by 1024 bytes of 1024 used. So 2 of 63 types were actually used here, and 1 of 63 in the other cell. So let's see what's actually in here. Oh, look at that. It looks like someone literally filled up our ME network with shit. So our ME network is full of shit. So how do we go about fixing this? There's a couple really simple and actually relatively cheap ways to do this. Typically what Annie and I do right away is we'll get rid of these 1K storage cells and just upgrade them with 4Ks. So let's go take a look at how to do that first. I've actually got this set up over here. Just to recap the old 1K ME storage components, this is the recipe for that. We are actually going to use that in our new 4K storage cells. So keep in mind that we are going to have this continuation as you go further up the storage cell tiers. You are going to be reusing the same components over and over and over. So that's why it's important to, I don't want to say stockpile, but you're going to want a lot of logic processors, calculation processors, engineering processors. They're just a necessary evil. So you're going to have lots of those. Just keep that in mind when you're kind of laying out the math for your ME network as soon as you start to increase it. So this is here. I've actually got some of this stuff already crafted, and I don't want to make this video too long, so we'll burn right through this. We'll show you the components, what's needed, and then we'll actually put them to use. So keep in mind, we're going to need lots of these 1Ks. What we've got here, this is the recipe for a 4K storage component. So this doesn't actually include any of the housings. This is just the components. So what I'll do is actually we'll throw these in here. Let's just right off the bat, we'll make 10 of these, so that should give us a fair amount of storage. This is your second upgrade from 1K, or your first upgrade from 1K. This will be the second upgrade for that. So let's just go ahead and we'll start making these guys. And they're not too expensive. They are more time consuming than anything. I mean, your base materials are pretty low. You'll have to excuse me. I have a terrible cold starting. And we'll get this set. Alright, so this will give our last 9. So what we'll go through now is we're going to actually build do the housing. And for right now, since we're not transferring anything out of our ME network from the other chips yet, we're just going to go ahead and we'll build 10 of these right away. We're only going to need 8, but we're actually just going to build 10. Just because in a later video we are actually going to upgrade those. So let's just go ahead to this. Alright, there we go. 10 of those, so we'll take them all. Alright, so if you actually, let's take a look at this. So what has changed since the other storage cells? The main thing here is rather than 1024 bytes available, you actually have 4096. So these are kind of computer-based iterations. The technical stuff here really isn't all that important. Just remember that this stuff is going to get you more storage just because you have more bytes available. We'll get into the math and stuff later on once we get into the higher end ME upgrades that I'd like to do at a later time. So let's go throw these in the ME network and see what happens here. So we're only going to do 8. So there's a significant amount of storage here. You'll notice that the green on here, and these things are ready to rock. So we can throw stuff in here all day long again. So that is the first and probably one of the cheapest upgrade methods. What we could actually do on here, since we do have extra chips, is we can go through and throw on another ME drive. So let's do that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to offset this just one. You don't have to do this. You can actually throw them right next to each other, just to show how these are actually connected together and they work. Let's do it like that. And there you go. See, these chips turned green, so they're ready to go. Now, if this drive wasn't actually online and connected, once we get into the actual channels in a couple videos, let's take this off here. See how they go dark? That's how you know your ME drives are not functioning. So they are still green, they just are not lit up. Let's throw that back on there. And there they go. So lots of storage available. It's pretty easy to set these drives up. What you can do is you can save your old chips and literally just throw another drive on here and just keep going. Depending on the number of channels you have available, you just keep going with these. And Annie and I actually have done that early game, just because resources were kind of limited. I guess they were just needed for other machines and stuff. So you can do that. It's really cheap to just keep throwing those on there. Use your smaller chips if you have to. You can upgrade those later on. One of the other management aspects that we usually try to do right away early game, because storage is kind of it's expensive, but it's easier to just not clutter up the network early game. Is we'll go through and we'll start compressing different materials. Say all this redstone here, this can all be turned into redstone block. If we had, for instance, a whole bunch of cobblestone, for our early game base, we could actually go through and actually start compressing some of that cobblestone. And with extra utilities installed in this particular mod pack, I mean, it can get pretty extensive. So you're looking at, almost millions. Well, there's a 43 million compressed cobblestone. You can do that right in the ME network. What I want to do is I'll actually show you, because we're going to upgrade this terminal. You can see that this device is still online. Let's tear that off there. Okay. What we're going to do is we'll throw this actually into the crafting station here. And let's go ahead and we'll upgrade this guy. Okay, so we've gone from an ME terminal. So this ME terminal will let us put things into and take them out visually from our ME network, which is great. But now we can actually build ourselves a crafting terminal. So let's take that out of here. And these go on just like they would just a regular ME terminal. Oh wait, there it goes, device is online. So let's check this out. There we go, now we've got ourselves a crafting terminal. What we can do here, this works just like your standard crafting station, crafting table, except now rather than a chest hanging off the side, you actually have access to your entire ME network. So we can just go ahead and I'm just going to shift click these. 28. See how it pulled them right out of the ME network? And it's literally that easy. So the big things to take away from this is, depending on what you can afford as far as storage goes, go ahead and upgrade to your 4K storage cells for early to mid game. You can absolutely add drives, and one of the most important parts of this is your crafting terminal, because this gives you access to your entire ME network, and then you can just use those materials that are actually inside of there. So in the next couple videos, we'll go over some of the seed things. And if you actually watched the earlier video, these guys, they still haven't done a whole lot, and it's been 25 minutes. So they're at 8%. So slowly but surely they are actually doing their thing. But in the next couple of videos, we're going to show you how to automate some of these processes. So till next time, this is MeefMagnet. Later.